live on our YouTube so that anybody who does not have Discord can listen in, of course. 150 people joined in the matter of seconds there. That's crazy. So we are on YouTube, we're on Discord, everything is good. And one other very quick change, one comment. I currently have the sweat cap on, which I'll turn my camera on in a moment. You'll see me wearing it as well as my headphones. I don't know if Michael has a sweat cap, but I know he is a fan of wearing caps as well. So maybe we can rep some form of merch today. This is a nice lead up to the very quick announcement that our merch store will hopefully be launching in the next 2 to 3 weeks. If anything, we will have a very small community release just for you guys who are active here to get your hands on some exclusive sweat merch. I believe we have around 15 different items that you could see on our store. So that will be very, very, very cool for you guys. Let me turn my camera on, hopefully, if it wants to work today. Will it come on? Will it come on? It's loading. We'll see. If not, oh well, I'll just have to show you guys a photo of the cap instead. But it would be pretty cool. Okay, I'll leave it try to turn itself on. Anyway, of course, the main reason that we are here today is to discuss about the 2 billion or over 2 billion reallocation or retrieval vote. So, of course, we released this proposal to you guys early, so before we actually run the vote in app this time. This is based on your feedback from the previous vote. You wanted a lot more time and a bit more of a process of engaging you guys, the community, for your feedback. Absolutely, this is what we want to do. And we've taken that feedback and taken it straight through to this proposal. Very quickly, I'd like to do just introductions. So I am David Ashton, however you would like to call me, Spee, as some people say. I'm the community manager here, kind of liaison between the Sweat team and the community, making sure that all your feedback reaches the direct code team. And joining me today is Michael, who is leading the governance and also working on a couple other projects with us at Sweat. If you'd like to give a very quick introduction to yourself there.
Hi, David. Yeah, good to be back. Hi to the community. Nice to see such a pump in the attendance. Yeah, for those who I haven't met before, David said, my name is Michael. I'm working a lot on the Web3 decentralization efforts in the Sweat wallet side of things, and governance votes and voting in general, and the formation of the Sweat DAO, which is what we're working towards, all falls under my umbrella. So good to be here today. As I said, really excited for this proposal in particular. I think it's going to have some pretty cool implications on the project. So excited to hear what questions the team or the community has today.
Awesome. Yeah. So we do, as you guys probably know, we have this dedicated proposal discussion channel where over the weekend you guys have been posting your questions as well as talking amongst yourselves. And as announced, of course, we will choose the top 5 questions that we cover and allow you guys to choose your reward, whether you want Sweatcoin Premium or Sweat Hero Closed Beta Access. What we will be doing though, we'll be going through as many questions as we can, and then after the event is over, myself and the staff team here will be going through to choose our favorite ones that we covered. Of course, as well, we will be making sure that we choose the earliest or the first poster of the question. I appreciate some people may have just had the same thought process, but just to keep it fair, whoever has posted the question first will receive the reward if chosen. Anyway, let's just kick it off. Michael, if you have a couple of minutes, could you just run through what this proposal actually is and what it means to an average user for Sweat?
Yeah, absolutely. And let me just say this. Guys, we heard your feedback And one thing that we've done differently with this vote is we are socializing the proposal a good 2-3 days before we actually go live with the voting to give everyone adequate time to go through the proposal. So while I'm going to give a quick rundown now, I just want to encourage everyone to please read through the proposal. Um, a lot of thought has and planning has gone into putting this proposal together. And in this particular governance vote, I think it requires a little bit of reading to understand the context of where these tokens have come from, and why we are proposing the actions that we are. So the TLDR is the following. We have a bunch of users from last year's TGE. And just to be clear, that's the token generation event where we did our initial token drop and subsequent release of tokens on a month-on-month basis. That was in September last year. Now, a bunch of those tokens have released because it's been where we're at 9 months, I think. And of course, a lot of those tokens are still locked up because there was a 24-month lockup, if I have that right. Now, the reason this proposal came about is because we have a whole bunch of users who have basically left the project. They haven't logged into their app. They haven't responded to emails, push notifications, nothing since TGE. And I mean, this is understandable. A lot of people sort of just hear about the TGE on the internet. They participate just for fun or to check things out, but without any interest of really being active on the project. And as a result of that, this means that we have a users with a total sum of locked up sweat that, as David said at the start, is in the region of around 2.4 billion sweat. And the bad news is that this sweat is really just sitting there and aging, and it's not being put through any form of circulation. Or what I mean by that is it is not being moved, it's not being put to work, it's not being sent, it's not being spent. It's basically just sitting in lockup and slowly releasing. And so what we are proposing is, and we waited just shy of a year to do this because we wanted at least 14 plus attempts at trying to get these users to become active. We actually want active users because active users contribute to a lot of events and actions in app. But we're in this really cool position to recover those tokens from those accounts. And that's for the simple reason that the lockup account is still held by our private keys, the company's private keys. Of course, the tokens that have already been released, even if those users never log in again, we have no access over because everyone owns their own private keys in Sweat Wallet. So those that are not yet released, however, as I mentioned, are sitting in a lockup account to which we have the private keys. And the proposal, as everyone can guess at this point, is to retrieve those locked up tokens. Of course, only for users that have been that have gone, the word I'm using is idle, or in almost a year haven't logged in or accessed their account in any shape or form, and move them to an interim treasury type account. The exact naming, David, you can maybe just help me what we're calling that account. I think it's treasury governance.sweat. And
Close enough. Governance.treasury.sweat, I believe, is the final address.
thank you. Governance.treasury.sweat. And that's step one. If we will do that, if 75% of the participants who take part in this vote in favor of doing that. And if that happens, we will then come out with a second proposal shortly thereafter, with what to do, how to repurpose these tokens in such a way that it benefits the project. No surprise, there will definitely be a burn component to that. And we will look at ways or we're going to propose ways of putting this money into circulating supply so that it contributes to the longevity of the project. Just a quick comment. I know we're going to take questions later, David, so I hope you don't mind me jumping the gun. Yes, those 2.5 billion tokens are part of circulating supply. And that is exactly why we are making this proposal, because having dead tokens in a circulating supply is not good for anybody's circulating supply. I sort of lost track of who asked that question. That's a very good question. And that's exactly why we are making this proposal while we still have a window of opportunity to reclaim these tokens. Let me stop there. That could be quite a lot to digest, and we can see there's questions on that.
Yeah, I think that was a very well placed question. So, just to confirm, this vote will not increase the circulating supply, right? It's already circulating.
Yeah, correct.
Cool. Okay. Um, I see a very, very active side chat as well as quite a lot of comments in the YouTube channel, which is really, really cool. Um, why are you taking so long? We're explaining the process, my friend. Do not worry. Um, the rough amount right now, and by the way, this is subject to change because right up until the voting period ends, anyone can still claim their balance if they have never used the Sweat wallet before. So they can claim their allocation, which means that the amount that we will be retrieving can change right up until the last second. I know we do have a lot of questions in the proposal discussion channel as well as in the side chat. What I will do is probably head to the proposal channel first because those questions have been in there for the whole weekend, and Michael and myself will do our best to explain any questions that there are. I see a wide range of people from all corners of the world, which is really, really cool. And her team is currently posting the proposal link for anyone who needs to do a last second refresher of the document. Cool. Let's pull up a couple of questions. I'll just say a couple of questions out loud, and Michael, if you want to take them, absolutely feel free to do so.
Sure.
Let's start reading through here. So, what were the actions that were carried out to contact the users who have registered and not yet used any aspect of Sweat? Um, and then, hold on, let's answer that first part first, if you have the stats there.
Yeah, there were actually three actions. Thanks to whoever asked that one. Three things that we did. We had it started with a range of emails. So I think to date we have sent 8 emails per user, 7 push notifications per user. And then about 3 weeks ago, we have a special in-app banner that only renders for those users who have gone inactive to remind them to please log into their Sweat wallet and avoid this token reclaim and basically go and claim their balance. So it's been initially I just said emails and push notifications. It's actually been emails, push notifications, and in-app banners.
Awesome. So yes, there's been numerous attempts to contact all of these users, of course, over the last 9 months or a little bit longer, I believe. So there's absolutely been a more than fair attempt to re-engage these users. Remember, the focus of this is to make sure that the engaged users have the full value possible and to re-engage as many people as possible. We don't want to be doing this repeatedly, and I believe we absolutely will not be doing that because of the minting pause and other introductions to the project. One further question that kind of relates to that is what guarantee do we users who are holding Sweat in the medium or long term, if they don't open the app for multiple years, what guarantee do they have that the DAO or the governance system wouldn't vote to recover the inactive tokens of long-term holders? A very quick reply to that is if you are holding Sweat actively in your wallet, remember that it is self-custody and we have no ability to access your wallet. Michael, if you'd like to expand at all on this point here.
Yeah, I think sort of we briefly covered this when I was giving the breakdown, but this is a great question, and I think it's going to come up several times. Funds that have unlocked and are sitting in a user's wallet are unrecoverable from the DAO, from anyone, because they are owned by the private keys of the user who owns the wallet. No one can touch them. We are not a a CeFi wallet, we are a self-custody wallet where you're in control of your own funds. The only reason why we are having a proposal like this, and we'll never have one like this again, is because these funds that we are talking about in this particular proposal are funds that have not yet released. They are still held by the Treasury's lockup account. And that lockup account has private keys that are owned by the organization. Okay, so, and just to David's point, the reason I'm saying a proposal like this won't happen again is because we won't be issuing tokens to inactive users with the minting pause feature that we've rolled out, as we don't want to have to reclaim tokens from any account. Instead, we want users to be responsible for their own activity and participation.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the answer. Um, Another question here. I think I like this question quite a bit. It relates to the US launch. And this user has said that since there will be a new TGE, just to confirm, there will not be a new token generation event. We're not generating more tokens. It's coming from an existing supply, so there will be no increase there. Um, but the team may run into the same issue where tokens are left unclaimed or abandoned for a long period of time in a lockup contract. Um, so the question here is, will the team set a deadline or a claiming period so that we can reclaim or retrieve dormant tokens from the US allocation? I think that's a very big question, maybe something that we'd need some solid time to cover. Um, but I don't expect there to be a huge amount. There's certainly a lot less time between the announcement to actually launching. Just for context, I believe we announced Sweat Wallet and the launch of Sweat, of course, and opting in through Sweat Coin around March in 2022. And there was a long period, a lot of months in between that time to actually launching. The US launch will be a very short period compared to this, which means that we will not lose nearly as many members in terms of just time spent, which will minimize the amount of abandoned tokens. Um, and I'm not entirely certain on the allocations. Of course, this may be decided by future votes or anything like that, but I don't think there would be such a considerable amount of abandoned tokens compared to the original TGE, because you compare a borderline worldwide launch, which was our original TGE, compared to a rather localized launch to US. So I don't think there'll be such a major amount.
David, a couple questions that I can maybe quickly field here. I see a lot of comments around why don't we just burn these tokens if they're anyways idle? Sure, not a bad idea. If they are not contributing to the circulating supply, they should probably just be removed from circulating supply. Very valid questions that are being asked about burn. Burning is not off the table, guys. But because we want the vast majority of the whole community on board, we have decided to break one big action, like reclaiming and then burning, into two steps, to make sure that we have given adequate opportunity for everyone to both understand what we're doing, think about it, and cast their vote for what they want. That doesn't mean that burning will not be something in the near future. It just means that this next proposal that we're voting on is simply on reclaiming. The next proposal will entail some burn component to it. So there will be that opportunity to vote on that if the first proposal, this one we're chatting about, passes. In other words, the vast majority of our community votes in favor of reclaiming. Next question that I saw, is it possible to pause unlocking until voting is done? In theory, it is, but we do not want to pause unlocking because we feel that we want to give all these inactive users until the last possible minute, as David said, to still go and activate their account simply by logging in. So we are actually, even if the community votes in favor of reclaiming these tokens, we still want to make sure that everyone had the best possible chance of having an opportunity even though they've been able for a really long time to still come in and claim their tokens. And guys, that's also why we're not putting an exact number on how many tokens it is exactly, because if someone comes and they log in right after this Discord community call, then that user will be excluded from the sample size of users who are inactive and whose locked up balances we're proposing to reclaim. Hope that's clear.
Yep, really good. Just a quick reminder to everybody who's currently in the Discord AMA. If you would like to come on stage and ask us questions directly using your voice, then please feel free to do so. There is a request to speak button at the bottom of your screens. I see a few requests going up straight away. We will be pulling people up in a couple of minutes, so just keep your hand up there. For those of you guys who are currently sat in the YouTube, you are of course free to come and join us in Discord and put your hand up, or simply comment any questions that you have, and we will still do our best to answer them. Okay, I think what we'll do, we'll have a couple more text questions if we can pull some more, and then we'll have a couple of guys up on stage, and that will be a pretty solid discussion. I think we've covered a lot of very important points today. Which is really, really exciting.
David, maybe just one last comment. I'm just almost trying to do a little bit of a like a topical analysis by reading these fast threads. Will this affect the token price of Sweat? Guys, simply reclaiming these tokens as step one, should the majority of you of the community vote in favor of doing this, will have absolutely no effect on the token price. It would only be the outcome of the second proposal, and should that be a proposal to burn some of these reclaimed tokens, of course, that could have an effect on the token price. But simply reclaiming these tokens, because they are already in circulating supply and they will stay in circulating supply for the duration that they are recovered and put into a new account, will of course have no effect on the token price.
Cool. Just keep on reading these questions here. They're coming in. A lot of them are repeated questions, and that's absolutely okay. For anybody who has missed the beginning of this AMA, we will have the recording of this up on YouTube and linked in our recording section on Discord. So if you have missed anything, don't worry, you can listen back at any point. And I'm just going to have a quick look. It's better to burn it. Again, there will be future proposals, of which I'm sure a good proportion would go towards burning. What if some of these inactive or sleeping users, so this is a question, sorry, what if some sleeping or inactive users will try to get their tokens in, say, a year? Will they simply not be able to claim their tokens? Do you consider it as a reputation risk?
Yeah, I think that, so to be clear, if someone logs in 10 years from now, they would still see their balance of Sweat that has been unlocking periodically for the last 9 or 10 months. And the reason why we're not just making an executive decision but involving the community is that the community should feel that the value of the project and the longevity of the project is what is the most important thing in this decision that we're making. So that sort of answers, a lot of our reputation is a reflection of what our community thinks and feels. And that's exactly why we are putting this to a vote and not just making an executive decision. So I hope that answers that. While I'm at it, just a question. Can the people who don't claim be US people who cannot install the wallet? Of course not. That would be unjust of us to keep reminding people to claim and log in, but they physically can't. So it definitely excludes the US customers because they simply cannot log into the US because we haven't launched in the US yet. However, we are launching in the US in September. So it obviously excludes users in whose countries we are not yet active with Sweat Wallet.
Slightly off-topic question. Is sweat minting stopping in the future? No, sweat minting is still going on. Of course, as you walk, you will be able to earn sweat and mint it. The minting difficulty is increasing, as is a core part of our tokenomics, and you may be basing this question from seeing the minting pause announcement. This is actually just a minting pause on inactive accounts. Again, users who do not actively use the Sweat Wallet app, they will not be minting. If you open the Sweat Wallet app once every 30 to 60 days, then you will be absolutely fine. You will see quite literally zero change in your experience. Thank you for putting this up after the AMA is finished. Absolutely, don't worry about that. Uh, can you say happy birthday to me? Okay, happy birthday. I'm going to butcher your name, Medkun. Hope you have a very good day. I missed the whole thing. You can't hear anything. Discord is having some connectivity issues. I've noticed quite a lot of issues with double messaging, everything like that as well. So maybe it's that sort of issue. Don't worry, the recording will be up already. Okay, I think what is time, we'll bring up a couple of people onto stage and then we will start to wrap up. So a final reminder, press the request to speak button on the bottom of your screen and then it lets us know that you want to come on stage. What I'll do first, I see Muji has been sat here for a while, who is one of our resident moderators here, really awesome guy. I'll bring you up to stage. I know you often have a very good technological insight into everything. So welcome to the stage.
Hi, thanks, David. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we hear you.
Thanks, David. And hi, Michael. So it's just a couple of questions. Exciting times. Another proposal is upon us and just feels good that it's going more towards a DAO governance community. My first question is around if the voting go ahead and we is basically is approved that we are okay to basically reclaim those 2 billion tokens, then we will be moving them from one wallet to another wallet. And that can cause a bit of panic if people see on-chain activity, a large amount of sweat are moved from one wallet to another wallet. So how we can ensure that that won't cause any kind of panic or FUD among community. People might think that it's been moved basically to sell or something. So what
Yeah, just very quickly. So the addresses are already actually public, in which are used for this transfer. So we have the lockup contract address already public, and the treasury or holding account that the tokens will stay in until the next proposal. These are dedicated addresses now, so there will be absolutely zero transactions or sweat sent out of it until the next proposal, which will make it very easy for everybody to track and make sure that there are no transactions or any trades or anything like that going on unless absolutely approved by the community by a future vote.
Okay, that sounds good. And my second question is about obviously we're gonna have another TGE for US, and we're gonna follow pretty much a similar model for US. So what we're gonna have in place to ensure that we won't have similar situation with US TGE. So I mean it's been 9 months, and then now we have to clear up these unclaimed tokens. Are we gonna have something like 4 weeks or 6 weeks of US guys to basically obtain and download the wallet, or they won't be able to get any token unlocked?
I can maybe cover that one, Muji. So we are going to do a pre-launch in the US. We don't want to do it too soon. Otherwise, exactly to your point, we have a bunch of users who kind of just drop off. Neither do we want to do it too late because we want to allow a bit of time for the excitement to spread. So exact dates aren't public yet, but I would say between 6 to 8 weeks before the official launch, we will start the countdown timer, both on the Sweat coin side to opt into Sweat wallet, and then within the Sweat wallet. And then We're taking the learnings from TGE that went really well, especially in terms of the onboarding flow between Sweatcoin and Sweat Wallet, but re-looking at how we do the token release mechanics, and coupled with implementing minting pause immediately in the US. So our exposure is going to be really 60 days. After 60 days, minting pause kicks in for users who have basically just left. But of course, it just naturally unpauses as soon as they log in. So I think those are the sort of mitigation steps we've put in place to
But,
ensure that we do again what worked well for rest of world TGE,
mhm.
and introduce some new mechanics as well.
Yeah, but the minting pause is for any new tokens minted, isn't it? But anything which is basically allocated at the time of TGE and getting unlocked linearly, will that come under minting pause as well?
Yeah, sorry. So to be clear, you're right. Minting pause is only for new sweat that is minted on a daily basis. In terms of what we will do at launch, what will be fundamentally different is there will not be a large token dump and then a linear unlock. It will just start straight with an unlock.
A linear
So that
unlock.
will, yeah, linear. So every month we have funds that are unlocking. Um,
And
yeah,
let's say after a month, if 10% of the users never downloaded the app or did any show any activity, what is the process then to are we gonna pause their unlocking?
I think a lot depends on how we see this proposal going and whether
Mhm.
we either expand the minting pause product to affect unlocking as well. So instead of just pausing the daily mint, does it unpause lock as well? Or if the community feel that this action that we're taking of recovering tokens of idle users actually went really well, and it was a fair way to handle this idle token situation. There's no reason why we can't come up with a similar approach in the future. A lot of this would be looking at the sentiment and how well it's received.
Yeah, I think thinking out loud about this, Michael, I think if we can have some point have a voting on this as well, that a minting pause take into account linear unlocking as well, that I think that would be really good.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Um, Definitely something we should explore and obviously watch. We are going to. The reason I mentioned the build up period, Muji, is we want to engage with these users as much as possible in that short build up, whatever it is, 6 to 8 week period before official go live date, to make sure that we are minimizing churn and maximizing interactions with these users. I think one headache in the previous one was just a whole bunch of users that had forgotten about the project by the time TGE took place. So I think that the build up is going to play a big part in understanding what that ratio is of idle users for the US launch.
Yeah, I think you guys are quite crypto savvy as well, so hopefully we're not gonna see that much unclaimed tokens, but still there will be some. So
Yeah, I think that there is a large component of Web3 users, but as you know, the US is one country that are all English speaking. So you know, there's a lot of
mm,
uniformity around the type of customer that's going to be, uh, um, or end user, should I say, that's interacting with a wallet. Where when you're doing a TGE for rest of world, it's a totally different kettle of fish. You know,
yeah,
different countries, different languages, everything. Yeah.
yeah, cool. All right, that's great. That's everything from my side. Thanks for having me on the stage, David and Michael.
Awesome, man. Thank you for your questions.
Thanks, Muji.
Yeah, thank you.
Cool. I see a lot of people interacting in the chat, some questions around proposal and some just general sweat questions. Um, if we're active on Sweat Wallet, can we win rewards in the future? Yeah, I mean, if you're active in the Sweat Wallet, that means you have more than likely opted into the existing prize draws. If you have not won yet, just keep on trying. It is down to complete random chance. We use random.org to draw the winners, so just keep going and you may win in the future. Um, cool. So we'll pull up one more person onto stage and then we'll wrap it up. last call for you guys to put your hands up if you do have any further questions, and we'll choose one of the random users from the list. The trade fee will be near or sweat, sweat, I believe, for the in-app swap/trade screen, which, by the way, we are testing and look to release relatively soon. Cool. Let's pull up Mr. Hunter here. You can come up onto stage and ask us whatever question you have on the proposals. I have invited you up to stage. Just give you a couple seconds to do that. Kindly set up a new page to display when countries will have their results. I'm not entirely sure what that suggestion is on. If you could clarify. I want to expand the learn and earn feature with a lot of different rewards. Absolutely. We're looking to have a lot more lessons and support more tokens in the learn to earn feature. So you will be able to earn a multitude of tokens, most likely the ones that are already supported in your portfolio, of course.
I wonder, David, how much anyone on this call enjoyed the first stablecoin learn to earn, the USDT, and
I
if
think we were
if,
big
if
fans.
people want to see more of that.
Yeah. If you took part in the USDT stablecoins lesson, quickly send a fire emoji in the chat. Let's go with that. Or I see any comments anyway. I certainly did. I took my 1 USDT for free. There you go. There you go. I'll invite you back up to speak. I saw you had issues. There you go. If you want to retry. If not, feel free to type out your question, Mr. Hunter, and I will read it out to the team. There you go. A lot of replies there. So definitely people enjoyed the USDT lesson. What are stablecoins? I think it was a really cool new experience, not just earning sweat, but other tokens. It could be really cool as well when trade releases, if we can have different tokens, and then of course you'll be able to exchange your assets. Stables for horses. I'm glad you liked that part. That was my own addition. Okay, so I see your question here. Is our information in the Sweat blockchain exposed to the inner circle of the higher ups, or will the user's info be used for benefits of those handled user data? Any information on the Sweat blockchain is public to absolutely everyone. It's a a public blockchain. Any of the information right now though is pretty much just transfers, minting, burns, not too much in terms of storage and that sort of aspect. Maybe your question is more related to your steps and actually converting them, in which case, yes, we do collect some data which will allow us to put it to our algorithm, verify your steps, and then mint sweat for you. So there is some data collected there, but of course it is all under fair use and very securely stored, so you don't have to worry on that aspect.
David, I know we're almost out of time. I think it's just a really good question that I want to quickly answer from
Absolutely.
Starseed. What percentage of the contacted people open their Sweat wallet to claim their tokens? Really, really, really good question. If I have my numbers right, we may have to get a refreshed figure on that. But over the last 10 months, it's been 3.8% of users have actually done something about it. Yeah.
Okay, so
It may be a good idea. Maybe a good idea when all is said and done after the vote to just release sort of like the final stats on that. But thanks for asking that question. That's a good one.
yeah, that's a really good question. I think what we'll do, we'll have like a roundup blog post where we'll cover all of the statistics, how much was transferred, the total amount of communication sent, and how many people reacted to it. Yeah, we'll do a roundup for everybody, but really great question. Thank you for asking that. Okay, yeah. So Michael's right. I think we're running a little bit out of time. We had a lot of questions today and a couple of people on stage, which was good. Well, we had Muji on stage and we tried for a couple more, but there were some connection issues. That is absolutely okay. I appreciate everyone joining. I love seeing you guys here.
Guys, this next vote will have the ability to tweet your vote, or not what you voted, but just tweet the fact that you voted. So please do use that social media interaction. For those who are on Twitter, it will be really cool to spread the voting love with everyone who follows you, and see if that also creates more participation. So please do try that out. It will be cool to share it.
Yep, awesome. So thank you very much, Michael, for joining us. I appreciate your time here. I'm sure the community loves having you here as well. Um, and that is pretty much it for today. I'm sure we'll have more sessions, more AMAs. Maybe not all about governance, of course. We can have AMAs around the other features that are releasing over the next couple of months. So keep your eyes out there for some really awesome announcements. Just one. Oh, I see Michael unmuted. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say thanks, David, and cheers.
Thank you very much. We're going to end it here. Thank you to everybody for joining. I appreciate all your time. Please feel free to come along to any of the other text channels or Hangout and just let us know your thoughts on Sweat in general. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great week.